And definitely having, again, that feeling of what's meant to be will be. I mean, I've had clients that I tell them, hey, you probably need to be at this purchase price, and they want to be a little lower, and I just have to use the best way to do it is just, this is something Jason instilled in me, is to set the table. Make them prepared and aware of what the situations may happen. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best type of negotiating. When somebody wants to be lower, just say, hey, look, this is probably where I would be. But if this is where you want to be, that's perfectly fine. You're the captain. I'm just steering the ship to make sure we don't hit any rocks. I mean, if you tell me to go through the rocks, I make sure we don't sink type of. That's pretty much how we try to do it. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Next Door Photos. I'm Patrick Braddock, owner and publisher of Cincinnati Real Producers.
And I'm Daniel Ziegler, owner of Next Door Photos. Every week, we're getting to know Cincinnati's top realtors.
Our goal is to elevate and inspire the real estate community throughout greater Cincinnati.
Today we have Logan Gittinger with the Jason Bowman team, brokered by RE/MAX Alliance Realty. Logan was born into real estate, but in 2015 he officially started as a transaction coordinator for another agent, then got his Kentucky license. The following year he got his Ohio license and joined the Jason Bowman team. His career sales volume is over $155 million, and in 2024 alone his production was over $14 million. He is a 3-time 100% club member and sells an impressive average 40 to 50 homes per year. Welcome to the show, Logan Gittinger.
Beautiful.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys
Welcome,
for having me.
buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Daniel, Logan and I just met a few weeks ago.
Hey, same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I was
morning.
like, hey man, what do you think about a podcast? He's like, I'm in. Like, before we even talked anything, he's like, I'm in. He's like, I love that stuff. So, and then pre-recording, he mentioned how like he's like, you let me know when you want to move on to something. He's like, as soon as I get rolling on real estate,
it's a lot of fun to talk about.
Exactly. So,
Love that.
thanks for being on the show, man.
No, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
Seriously, thank you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, our to start off, we're really big on what you did before real estate that got you into it. And I know you and I had I call it a special moment because I have a lot of respect for your mother as well.
Yeah.
And then especially with her battle. But it was when I made that connection, I was like, oh yeah, you've definitely been in real estate forever, dude.
Pretty much since I was born,
Yeah.
I was the kid that was underneath the closing table at my dad's company, racing Hot Wheel cars over people's feet, and in the break room, like when I wasn't in school or anything like that,
Sure.
they would take me there, and I'd be in the break room running around. And my mom always tells me that when I was a kid, I was probably scanning files to people when I was like 4 or 5 years old at their company. So yeah, been around my whole life. Yeah.
So, I mean, what was the trigger point for you to say, all right, I've been around real estate. I do like it. Like, I'm going to dive in.
Well, it was probably college.
Yeah.
I want to say. I remember I was sitting in my room and I was just thinking, like, man, I need to figure out something to do.
Sure.
And I was talking with my mom actually about it, and I was like, if you know of anybody looking or anything at all that I can get my foot in the door with a real estate company, just let me know. And she actually sent me a link to be a transaction coordinator for some team. I can't quite remember the name, but some team over in Coldwell Banker. And I applied there, and I went through that, and then I got hooked up with a different agent, actually. I went through the transaction coordinator stuff with him, and I actually liked it. It looked like a lot of fun. So definitely took steps and strides to try to get my license there and to kind of dive into being a realtor. But that was kind of how I first got into it. Once I saw that, I was kind of hooked, and got my license and did my first open house, got my first commission check, and then it was all up from there, I feel like. So yeah.
I bet that was a great way to get started, like being in the nitty-gritty of the details of the transaction coordination.
Yeah, it kind of actually helped a lot, I feel like, especially now in my business. I try my best to be organized. I'm definitely more of the realtor side, salesperson side, than I am of the organization side, I would say. Definitely grateful for my transaction coordinator that we have on the Jason Bowman team.
Yeah.
But it definitely helped get me into the actual what is a realtor, what is a real estate agent, and getting that
Right.
part. Yeah.
When or how did you get hooked up with Jason?
So actually, my dad and Jason know each other pretty well.
Okay.
And so I spent a year as a Kentucky realtor first. I actually got my Kentucky license first, then I got my Ohio license. And back then, Ohio, well, what is it? Kentucky didn't have reciprocity with Ohio. So if you wanted to get your Ohio license, you had to retake all the tests and the classes and everything else all over again. And it was in person. So I go get my Ohio license. And I'm interviewing. I interviewed for 3 other agents, including Jason, to try to figure out where the right fit was. One of them was a newer agent at the time and was trying to kind of grow a team and do all that stuff. The other was a broker, and he wanted me to more be on my own, which is fine. I mean, it wasn't really something I was looking for at the time. And then Jason, when I got hooked up with him, my dad's like, hey, go talk to Jason Bowman. He's a great agent, great person, highly motivated, and could probably teach you a little bit more. Because at this point, I'd only been a realtor for like 2 years, maybe like a year, going over a year, and done 6 transactions. And every single one of them was from an open house. I got the client from an open house, took them through to see homes, and then it was that. That's how I got all my leads back then. So 6 deals, and I talked to Jason about it and was going over what I wanted, and he had 2 agents, a listing manager, and a transaction coordinator. He had a big team, and I was like, okay, this is a place where I can kind of figure out who I am as a realtor, what I want to do as a realtor, learn from somebody that had been doing 100+ deals a year, and really evolve as an agent, and learn quite a bit from him. So at that point, once I talked to the new guy and the guy that wanted me to be just on my own, Jason was kind of the slam dunk at that point, I would say. It was kind of an easy fit. Yeah.
What year was that?
Probably about 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember being young and thinking I was, this great negotiator and all that stuff. And I got my Ohio license, and I was thinking, oh man, I was already on a team at the time, and I was thinking, oh man, I could probably negotiate a better split with this guy, because at the time I was kind of getting just 1% of the purchase price of a property. That was it. And then I had to split that 50-50 with the brokerage I was with.
Oh, wow.
So I was thinking, oh man, now if I had this other guy want me, maybe I can negotiate this other deal. I mean, it was a rude awakening. I'll say that, because I told him about it. And he's like, all right, you can go on. And I was like, oh, God, this is kind of the real world stuff. It was more like, in my head, I was thinking, oh, it's like sports, like, oh, this negotiation back and forth and stuff. And it was more like, hey, close this door, but opening a bigger door, I would say, and really evolving the career and putting me on a trajectory of success is what I was wanting for. So,
and experience, too.
Oh, yeah, great experience of not really being in control of a whole situation. And having to flow.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the team dynamic that you guys have is super powerful. You guys are very successful. It seems like you gel really well together as well. I mean, I love Jason over there. Was it pretty easy once you got into it? Like, all right, I made the right decision.
Yeah, me and him are kind of the same in a lot of the aspects of how we at least approach the business. He's definitely broader thinking, which is something I'm trying to be a little bit more. He's been doing it a long time. Yeah. So I've definitely learned a lot from him and how to go about looking at the business. But he is definitely a go-getter, somebody that I aspire to be in real estate. But yeah, we definitely gel really well. He doesn't hold a lot of restrictions on the agents that are on the team. So if I want to go tackle a $1 million listing from a client, I got it from a referral, he's not going to say, hey, no, you've only been doing this for 3 years. I'm going to take that listing. You work with them as a buyer. He's all for being there and supporting and making sure that the agents on the team are kind of growing and being what they want to be as realtors. Awesome. So yeah.
Well, I think it says
definitely
a lot.
Awesome.
It says a lot how long you've been on the team as well.
Oh yeah.
A lot of agents will join a team for a year or two.
Right. Yeah, and then they think I'll be honest, there were times where I was like, oh man, I could probably do this on my own, but then I look at it and I see the support, and I rely on Jason quite a bit, especially when I get in a situation or something that I haven't encountered. Even in almost 10 years doing this, definitely encounter things that are new, and it's good to have that support. So definitely don't have any plans on going anywhere. Yeah. It's been a fun time. So
well, and the grass isn't always greener, man. I've seen so many agents go somewhere and then 2 months later they're back.
They're bouncing.
Yeah, and they're like,
grass is green where you water it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
nurture that and let it grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just I guess you know, a lot of times we try to talk about what was life like before real estate, but for you, it was like college and then real estate, and so it's kind of
yeah. I mean, I had my first job was at JCPenney Portrait Studios. I remember.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was my first
With,
taste
like,
of
the
sales.
stars in the background. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I love it.
So I didn't take I tried taking the photos, but I mean, I'm not a photographer or nothing like
Sure.
that. It's a lot harder for me. I mean, kudos to the photographers, how they do it. My shots were always the people were like down here, and like everything else was spaced up here, or it was like I cut their head off or something, and it just never looked good. So they would come to me after they would get their photos. This was in high school, and then they would come over to the salesperson side of it, and they'd come in wanting like a 5x6 photos or like only 4 of them. And next thing you know, they're leaving with a portrait like this big. And I remember talking to the guy that I was working for, and he said, I was like, do I get commission out of any of this like upsell stuff? And he said, no, you're just hourly. I was like, okay, well, got to find something else.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I actually became a barista at Starbucks.
Oh, nice.
And that was okay. That was good money for college. And then
Sure.
I worked for 360 American Title
Oh yeah.
as their scanner and shredder, like getting all their documents into the like online and on the internet,
Yeah.
so they could get them a little easier.
is that Tina?
Yeah, Tina.
okay.
Yep. I know Tina.
Yeah,
and then
super nice.
she is. Yeah, she's great. But I mean, I was a college kid at that point. Probably didn't take it as seriously as I should have.
Yeah.
And then moved on. I was like, okay, I don't like sitting in the office. I don't like doing all that stuff.
Right.
As fun as it is and as cool as it is to see everybody all the time, I kind of like being out and about and
Yeah.
being home with the family and doing all that stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely
Well,
once
speaking
I
of which, what do you like to do outside of work? Like,
Yeah,
what are
yeah,
your hobbies and things?
hang out with the kids. I got 3 boys.
Oh, nice.
So I coach their football. Well, my oldest is 5. I coached his flag football team this past year. Coached their baseball teams. Not coaching soccer this year, but that's, getting a little busier with work,
I was
so it's a
gonna
little
say,
harder.
it's a
But I'll definitely be there for the soccer games. Like coaching, my dad coached me all the time when I was growing up, so try to do that.
Yeah.
But mostly boating.
Oh yeah.
Love boating when I get a chance. Go down. My parents got a house on the river, so
Oh,
love
yeah.
going down there and
Cool.
and hanging
wonderful.
out, and yeah, it's
Fun.
pretty much that's a majority of it.
Yeah.
When I'm not selling property, I'm mostly hanging out with the family. So
That's great.
yeah,
Same.
yeah.
Yeah. There's really not much to do when
gonna
you
say.
when you have a family. It's like,
Like if you work and you
Unfortunately.
got kids, that's your life.
That's pretty much Try to get them like involved in sports and extracurriculars and all that fun stuff. They're in preschool right now, so
That's awesome.
they have a lot
Great.
of fun. Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Well, cool. So, how big is the group now? How big is the team?
Well, now, so it's when I joined, it was me, Jason, 2 other agents, a transaction coordinator, Joanne Carrata, great transaction coordinator, and then our listing manager. Okay, so we had, what was that, like 5, 6 people? Now it's just me, Jason. We have another agent, Larry Willis, great guy, and then Joanne. The listing manager went on to work for her family, and which is okay because I mean listings have kind of come down a little bit. Joanne's got a lot of her on her plate with that. I mean, she's doing a great job being a listing manager and being a transaction coordinator at the same time. But so it's just us right now. And last year we did a little over 90 transactions total as a team.
Nice.
This year we're shooting for 200.
Whoa.
So definitely trying to jump those numbers up. In the future, we'll be looking for more agents to join. Looking for people that are definitely highly motivated, driven agents. So yeah. I do this 24/7. Never had a part-time job as this. I'm definitely more of a jump in with both feet and learn how to swim type of guy
Right.
Yeah.
than I am hopefully having a safety net.
I feel like that's the way you have to do it if you're going to be successful
Yeah.
in real estate.
Yeah, you do.
So much harder to try to do the
Yeah.
part-time thing.
The dabble just doesn't work. You know, it's like
There's some that are pretty good at it I've ran across, and you don't really know they have a second job until you try to schedule closings.
Right.
And that's always the hardest part is scheduling a closing.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a trial and tribulations on if you just got to jump into it. You got to trust yourself
Right.
and trust that you can swim.
yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So the growth over the next few years is 2 or 3 agents, exceeding 200 units a year.
Yeah.
Man, that's an awesome goal, and it's completely attainable. Do you see the we're in 2025 right now for anybody listening, but if you see like the spring market, is it starting to kick off for you guys? Are you starting to feel the heat?
Yeah, absolutely.
rise?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that coupled with, the how do I say, the teasing of lower interest rates has definitely catapulted people into buying more.
Right.
I mean, I went from January, December, probably closing 3 to 4 transactions to right now I have pending 10 at the time. So it's definitely heated up quite a bit. I would say it's going to keep growing. I can't imagine it's slowing down, especially if I have friends that text me all the time that are saying, "Oh, look, I heard interest rates are going to be in the low 5s by the end of this year." And I always tell them, "Don't hold your breath."
Right.
I'm hopeful that we'll be in the low 6s, maybe 5s by next year, maybe. But you just never know with the economy how things are going to go.
Right.
So,
well, and
definitely.
it's so interesting because now it's such an educational process for people who lived through the 2%, 3% interest rates, and they're like,
spoiled.
When are we going to get back to that? And it's like, you're probably never going to see that again, you know?
That's my thought. I tried not to get people's hopes up and say, "Hell yeah, wait a year," because my thought is like when you start getting into the numbers, and because I try to be a numbers guy, when you start getting into them, every 1% that the interest rates go down, I think they say like 5 million buyers across the country come into the fold.
Wow.
So you're going to see at a minimum a 4 to 5% bump, especially in a low scarcity market, maybe 6 to 7% bump in purchase price. So you're going to get, cool, you save your 1%, but you lose 5% on the back end because you're paying more for the home. You're having to sacrifice inspection stuff. You're having to do all these other hoops that you got to jump through and pay for people's dinner. I heard when the market was crazy.
Wow.
I had a client go $100,000 over and offer a Jeff Ruby's dinner and didn't get a home.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, and it's going to get back into that if rates ever dip down into the 2s and 3s, but you're going to be paying through the nose for a house.
Yeah.
Well, and let's just all remember what caused those low rates. It's like, do you
It's
really
not-
want another pandemic or something of that scale? Like,
I tell people, you'll never see this for another 100 years. It's like the 100 years, something happens and interest rates dip.
It's definitely a reason to pause. When people start talking, "Oh, I can't wait till rates get down in the 3s and 4s," it's like, well, like you said, what caused that? Do you really want to go through something like that again, or something
That was
worse,
terrible.
or something different that caused those lower interest rates?
yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
Well, it's really interesting hearing you talk about the numbers too. Like, interest rates aren't the end all be all, you know, like, and you can always refinance, you know? So
Exactly.
It's like,
And I have, so a lot of the people I work with end up being first time home buyers, and the ones that come back and say, when I say that, they say, "Oh, well, the 1% over 30 years is going to be something where they're going to save all this money." And then I always turn that question back on them and say, "How many people stay in their home for 30 years?" I mean, the average person stays in their home for maybe 5 to 7 years.
Right.
You can refinance once again, like you said, go back down, and it's going to be, you're sacrificing all this money to the purchase price when rates go down. So it's just one of those things. You got to make sure that you're buying at the right time for you.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Never feel like you have to buy something just because everybody else that you know is buying something too. So, yeah.
Right. Well, cool. So, I mean, I'm curious, over the past 10 years working closely with Jason, what are some of the key points that you would look back at and say, that was a really impactful time in my growth, or something really big that I learned? Like, what has that journey kind of looked like for you?
So I guess at first I was, like I said, with when I joined Jason's team, kind of got put in my place a little bit, humbled with negotiating. Kind of the same thing. When I first got into this, definitely very green, wanting to prove that I was the best negotiator around and willing to go the distance for the clients. And not saying I'm not, but definitely got a different perspective with this. It's something where you were super aggressive at first, and talking with Jason, talking with my dad, talking with my mom, who have both been in the business for a long time, talking with some other very successful realtors at the time when I was young, was to take a step back and realize that, hey, I've got to work with these people again. Don't want to give them a bad taste in their mouth every time my name comes across for an offer. Even if it's the best offer, I want them to see my name and be like, hey, Logan does a great job at making sure everybody's on the same page. He'll fight for his clients, of course, but at the same time, he understands that everybody has the same goal. The sellers want to sell a home, the buyers want to buy a home, and try to get that to the finish line is kind of an art form almost than it is trying to force something to happen.
Yeah.
And Jason and I both, and something he leaned into a lot was, what's meant to be will be. And I feel like once I got that, once you master something like that, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, you're not forcing everything.
Mm-hmm.
It comes, it goes. You're not going to get down on yourself and depressed and try to force things that happen when you're in a lull, when you're doing 2-3 deals a month instead of doing the 8, 9, 10 that you're used to.
Right.
You're just learn to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that he taught and that I learned with him to kind of push me in a different trajectory.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, that's no small thing to
Yeah.
learn that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You get more with, what is that saying? You get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. So
There you go.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely more of a vinegar guy when I was first in the business. So, try to take a
The
step
important
back.
thing
a
is you
little
learned.
bit. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yeah, and well, it's
Yeah.
also interesting because you're probably going to have clients, or you have had clients, or you will have clients that are not going to budge. You know,
Yeah.
so like when you've built your reputation as more of the honey and not the vinegar guy, now
Yeah.
it's clear that the other agent on the other side is sitting there saying, you know what, like I get it.
Yeah.
Like we all have tough clients. Like
We do,
Yeah.
and sometimes, like especially like, and I say this to a lot of my clients too. Now that things are heating up, okay,
Yeah.
but they're definitely not 2021, 2022
Mm-hmm.
when. As a buyer's agent, we didn't really have that much leverage. We didn't have that much strength that we could negotiate a lot.
right,
And so I like a little bit now where it's kind of tapered off a little bit, and we can, we can get back into negotiating. We can get back into both sides coming to an agreement, both sides coming to a meeting of the minds. And it's definitely been a change. So we've been able to make sure that our clients are getting their closing costs covered. So like you were saying, like, hey, when something comes up and you got to be a little bit more vinegar than you do honey, it's good to have an agent that can make that switch and make that difference. I mean, there's been times I have clients, I say, hey, look, this is like that one in Loveland we were talking about off camera. It goes $20,000 over list price. You got to be able to tell people, hey, this is the reality of this situation.
right.
And the same thing when there's a home that's been on the market for 30 plus days, be able to portray, not lowball, but be able to at least put the message across like, hey, we're going to be negotiating back and forth on this transaction. This is how this is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We can have a little wiggle room, and knowing how to dictate with experience which situation is going to be a multiple offers. This is how this home's going to go versus, oh no, you can probably have a little wiggle room
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
So
True.
Smart.
yeah,
Yep.
takes time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's all about just knowing the market and being the expert.
Yeah.
Yep, and definitely having, again, that feeling of what's meant to be will be. I mean, I've had clients that I tell them, hey, you probably need to be at this purchase price, and they want to be a little lower, and I just have to use the best way to do it is just, this is something Jason, again, instilled in me, is to set the table. Make them prepared and aware of what the situations may happen. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best type of negotiating. When somebody wants to be lower, just say, hey, look, this is probably where I would be. But if this is where you want to be, that's perfectly fine. You're the captain. I'm just steering the ship to make sure we don't hit any rocks. I mean, if you tell me to go through the rocks, I make sure we don't sink type of. That's pretty much how we try to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So I'm kind of curious, what I think every agent runs their business a little differently and does things their own way. How do you feel like you kind of stand apart or do things differently, or what differentiates you from other agents?
Definitely the drive.
Yeah.
Not just like motivated, but actually driving myself.
Driving.
Yeah. Like that. So there's times where in any given day, Jason and I, we cast a wide net. We don't like to fish deep in just one area. It's good to do that. Like I live in Milford, so definitely try to get a lot of clients from Milford so I don't have to drive very far. But this inventory is historically low. So the odds of me finding a buyer for this house in this area only, you'll starve.
Right.
So I've definitely learned to cast a very wide net. And if you're familiar with the Cincinnati area, going from Manchester to Dayton or Oxford, Ohio in one day, I mean, that's a lot of miles. But for clients, even if it's 150,000, drives my wife crazy, but she's great support. So I'll drive from Manchester and then I'll tell her, hey, look, I got a client that wants to see a home out in Oxford. I probably won't be home until 6:30. And there'll be some huffs and puffs and stuff. Like we got 3 boys, so they're always WWE at our house.
Yep, I know about
But
that.
she gets it, it is, it's part of the business. And I'll drive from Manchester all the way up to Oxford.
Wow.
And try to help anybody that's looking in any part of the city, west side to east side, north, south, Like I said, used to have my Kentucky license, don't have that anymore, but definitely have a lot of fun with that. I had a client that was out in Ripley that I helped an hour away. Deal was kind of falling apart at the time. It was with it was a VA loan, so a little bit of a different stuff. It's a manufactured home too, so with government-backed loans, some buyers don't realize you have to get this structural engineer's report, and that costs a little bit of money.
Right.
But so we get the structural engineer's report, we get everything else. They check the data plate, and there's this IBTS number that is kind of it goes with the property. That way, when the lender sees the IBTS report, they know, hey, this property at 1234 Main Street was the manufactured home that came to 1234 Main Street from the dealer to the property. Because if you move the home, from what I've learned, is it kind of voids the warranty and makes it an unwarrantable sale. So you can't really get those type of loans on a property that's been moved from one location to the other.
Gotcha.
So I have this guy that loves this home on the river out in Ripley, and it's an hour and 10-minute drive one way for me to get there. We get him under contract. He loves the home. Everything's smooth sailing. And we get to the appraisal, and the appraiser goes out there and takes a look at the IBTS report and takes a look at everything. And what do you know? The home is not corresponding with what they have on it. It's for a different property somewhere else. Can't really find out where it is. And this is part of the drive part, like that motivates me. And my client loves the home, doesn't want to let it go. He's done the inspection. He's paid the $500 for the inspection, $500 for the structural engineer, $500 for the appraisal, $500 for the earnest money. I mean, he's kind of deep into it.
Yeah.
And this is a home that is in the perfect spot for him. So we go through it, and I'm looking at it, and it's super confusing. I don't understand how the people I talk to, they just deeded it as real estate the year before. So it's like, hey, this should be where it is. This is the home that it is.
Right.
And I'm going through it all, and I have to go through the auditor's website. I check it. I find the previous agent on the property that sold it. I find their homeowner. I find their home buyer. I talk to all four of them. I talk to the previous owner of the other one, find out, hey, he actually owned both properties at one time. And when the county recorded them, they recorded the 1234 Main Street as 1236 Main Street instead. So they had them flip-flopped.
Oh, wow.
So the title for the properties was on the wrong properties.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I had to actually drive back out to Ripley, crawl underneath the crawl space, take a picture of the cross beam on it, get a picture of that, and then go back and take it to the county in Brown County. And
wow.
Luckily, it all got worked out, but it was definitely one of those moments where it's like, I feel like other agents maybe would have been like, oh, this is a done deal. It's dead. You can't move forward with it. And it would have sucked for this person, the person moving forward, the previous owner, anybody else. And now that's solved with the county and got them all flip-flopped and switched back in the right position. So
what you're saying is if you hire you as your agent, you not only get a realtor, but you also get a detective.
Yes, it was definitely put on my detective hat. Called my mom quite a few times. She's a previously great title examiner. She kind of helped me walk through the steps. I like to talk things out loud, especially something that's confusing.
Yep.
I'm talking to my wife, and she kind of gets it, but I'm just talking just so I can hear myself.
Right.
Like, hey, this doesn't make any sense. And I talked to my mom, I talked to my dad, and he's like, hey, that doesn't make any sense either. You got to figure this out. And going through IBTS reports, learned quite a bit about manufactured properties.
Yeah.
And in our line of work, that's from East Claremont to Brown County. That's the majority of what I do.
Sure.
So,
well, and that's a huge referral, like a huge reference to have with just your family.
yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, Mom, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Let me run this scenario by you here.
Yeah, they both ran a title company for 20 years and definitely know the ins and outs of that side of it.
That's
and
super cool.
It's more than just opening a door and making sure that the home, has four walls and a roof. There's a lot that goes into it, especially on the backside of title searches, title exam, making sure there's no liens or encumbrances on a property, making sure the deeds are recorded correctly and the titles are transferred, especially for manufactured home. So knowing the ins and outs of that is definitely something that helps my career moving forward.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
And
incredible.
having the dad that's an attorney,
Yeah.
that if something comes up, I mean, if somebody needs a trust written up or anything like that.
That's really cool.
It's a great resource.
Yeah. Love it.
Awesome.
My dad would charge me $1,000.
Well, I'm sure I have a bill racking up. I'm sure eventually,
Where's that family discount, Dad?
the chickens will come to roost or something like that. And he'll say, "Hey, remember I did this for you?" And no, I'm sure that's
so
coming
funny.
around the corner. So he's great.
That's awesome.
Definitely wanted to help out.
That's great.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you'll probably have a lot of good advice that you can offer, Sue. But before we do, we always like to give a quick plug to Back to Back Ministries,
Absolutely.
whose studio we're in. We're grateful to them for letting us use the space. But yeah, so Back to Back Ministries is a global nonprofit orphan care organization with their sights set on providing care for today and hope for every tomorrow. From Cincinnati, Ohio to Hyderabad, India, staff teams around the world are stepping into hard stories and choosing to stay. To learn more about the work Back to Back does, how you can get involved, and why a global team won't stop until every child is known and loved, you can visit backtoback.org today.
That's awesome.
Yep. So thank you, Back to Back.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that said, we would love for you to offer some advice for, we could start with some buyers and sellers out there.
For buyers and sellers,
Yeah.
and agents alike.
Whatever you want to share.
My biggest, go with the flow. Honestly, it's easy to get discouraged, especially as a home buyer, even as a seller. When you list a home and it sits for a little bit, and your next door neighbor's home sold in 2 hours. Unfortunately, realtors are not magicians, as much as we try to be, and try to say, "Hey, your home is worth $500,000," and really maybe worth $400,000.
Yeah.
The market is what dictates stuff. Mm-hmm. So we do our best to put an appraiser hat on and to say, hey, look, this is what our market says, and to be on top of things. But you know what happens within the first week of how things are going to go. Mm-hmm. And same thing with buyers. Make sure you get your pre-approvals squared away. Make sure you talk to your lenders that you like. Lean on your realtors as much as possible. When you have a problem with something, that's what they're there for. Mm-hmm. Don't ever feel like I always want to tell, especially buyers that call me through Zillow or through anything else like that, I didn't want to bother my agent, so I was calling just to get information on this. I was like, no, that is what we're here for. We all work when you don't work, and work when you are working. We're working 24/7. I always tell people, they call me like 9 o'clock on a Saturday or 10 o'clock on a Sunday or 10 p.m. I said, look, the only time I'm off is Christmas. That's the only day off. I work 24/7, 364 days a year. The only day I take off is Christmas, and that's about it. So call me anytime and make sure that you're getting taken care of. And it's just, that's one thing I'll say to buyers is lean on the people, the experts that are around you. Mm-hmm. And as an agent, find a mentor. My whole life, success comes from mentorship. Comes from people that have done this before and never feel like you know everything. Mm-hmm. Try to talk to my 5-year-old with that a lot. He's very smart. And I always try to say, hey, look, man, you're growing, you're evolving, you're doing the things that you want to do, but make sure you ask questions. Make sure you're never too afraid to say, I don't know, and that you'll get back to somebody.
Right.
That's some advice that's helped me a lot.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, Logan, we appreciate you being a part of the podcast.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Excited to kind of continue to follow you and Jason and the team and see where things go. I mean, those lofty goals are going to be, definitely attainable, but I can't wait to see when you guys hit those, and we'll be like, damn, man, great work. So
we'll come back.
Yeah.
Bring Jason with us.
Bring Jason.
Yeah, have everybody here and have a lot of fun. Yeah.
That'll be great, dude. We'd love to have you back. And, just continued success. It's great to see real estate agents do it the right way, man, and it's clear that you guys are. So
thank you.
And then you come from a great family as well. So thanks again for being on, man. We're excited to see what the next few years have in store for you.
Yeah, so am I. Absolutely. And thank you guys as well for having me. I can't wait to see your podcast grow and evolve and do all that. Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Nextdoor Photos. We do this every week, so be sure to subscribe so you can follow along. If you liked our conversation, leave us a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts.